Oh, hey, how are you? Hi, Frank Murphy here. Getting ready for Ask Frank Live here at Mountain Fun Life. Got a couple of minutes. I gotta make sure I get a little peanut butter on my banana done. And gotta put on my bronzer. I want to look pretty on TV. This is the conference room here at, I kind of use it as my dressing room, but don't tell Bob because he might get mad. Anyway, we're gonna cut through the offices. Today is January 2nd. It's the 9th day of Christmas, so I'm really hoping that somebody brings 9 ladies dancing to the show today. That'll be really hot. So let's check in and see how everybody's doing in the office today. We can, I think everybody's in the, hello, you over there? No, they're already at the studios because I got a text from Kira that I think our guests have arrived already. So this is cutting through one of the podcast recording studios that is available for rent. This is the fish tank. There's something in there somewhere. What is in there? Like a shrimp or a lobster or a thing? It's a red thing, but it likes to hide.
Right.
Kira.
What are you doing? We got a show to do.
Absolutely. Well, we've got, this is Pete, right?
Yep.
Pete, hi, I'm Frank.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
I think he's doing a Civil War bit, or I have just offended him. So we'll find out. How are you, Kira?
I'm great. How are you, Frank?
There's nobody in the office. I guess everybody's over here already, right?
I guess so.
All right. Well, let's go into the studio, and we'll say hi to a couple people. But I want to say hi. Karina is here. She's the one who runs our Mountain Fun Life Best Deals. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Andy.
Andy? Angie?
Andy.
Andy.
Andy Lee.
Like Aunt D?
A-N-D-I.
Andy. All right, I got to learn that one. And hi, I'm Frank. You're Steve?
I'm Steve Gibson, yes. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Steve. Very well. Great, thank you.
Nice to be here.
This is the desk. It looks like, what do we have today, Kira? We have tickets for the Buttonwillow Civil War Pigeon Forge Theater. Oh, I know exactly where that is. I'm assuming that's why all y'all are here, right?
That's us.
Yeah.
All right. You can see all the beautiful monitors. I love showing these off because I got a friend of mine, a lawyer, who wants to rent all of this and come in and do an advice show. So I think that's a really good idea. Let me set down my peanut butter and my other water.
Why do you have peanut butter?
Because I'm going to eat it. I've been busy. I had breakfast. I want to show you back here, though, because you can see here in the control room, obviously they're getting, looks like a commercial ready for the Buttonwillow show, that we can roll that. And somewhere back here, you getting sports director Rich Haley on live from Jacksonville?
Get him in now.
It looks like well, so far he's sideways, so we'll get that worked out. But this is still early in the process. They barely got the connection made. He can't even hear us yet, can he?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's going to be exciting. So we'll get that. See, he remembered to wear his orange. I had to actually, this is kind of embarrassing. I'll tell Kira the story on the air. I had to actually call my wife and say, hey, he left the house without anything orange. And then she met me in the parking lot with this shirt and tie. She's a dear. All right. Well, anyway, let's get going on the show. I'll take a quick minute to freshen up and eat my peanut butter, and then we'll be underway with Ask Frank Live, Mountain Fun Life. Be sure to comment on Facebook. In fact, you can start commenting right now, and we will have a winner of those tickets for the Buttonwillow Civil War Theater. Well, merry 9th day of Christmas, Kira.
Frank,
It is the 9th day of Christmas.
how many times do I have to tell you? No.
I'm saying that Google will back me up on this. The internet, the world, the history, books, anything will back me up on this. Today is the 9th day of Christmas, so I would like my 9 ladies dancing, please. Anyone? No? Okay.
You're on.
All right. Well, anyhow, yeah, so we've got a couple of things coming up. I've got my orange on, as you saw. I went and got my my orange tie. Actually, my wife was very helpful to me today.
Oh, Jerry. Yeah, she's very helpful.
All right. I lovingly refer to my wife as the wardrobe department because she helps me out in so many different ways.
Oh, she helps me out too.
What do you mean?
No, nothing.
All right. I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Well, anyhow, today I showed up wearing one of my science teacher outfits, which is the blue jeans and the plaid shirt.
Your science teacher outfit.
That's what I call it. It's my general go-to attire. But I remembered that I got up very early this morning and didn't think about the bowl game tonight. The Gator Bowl is tonight.
That's pretty important.
So we're supposed to wear orange because go Vols. And when I looked in or my wife Jerry looked in the closet, she says everything orange you have is a necktie. You've got the blue and orange necktie when you're talking about the Lady Vols. You've got another one, the orange one with the little lighthouses on it, which is one of my favorites. And then this solid orange one. So orange and white, go Vols. I'm wearing orange and white. Let's see your orange.
It's in my lipstick.
No, it's not.
Yes, I have an orange lipstick and a red lipstick, and I combined the two to make the color I have now.
All right, I'll allow it.
Go Vols.
So you've got on green and a leather jacket. So you're ready for a motorcycle rumble of some kind, I think.
I like motorcycles, but I don't want to ride them.
And also with your what are you doing way up there? Hello, how's it going up
Frank,
there?
I'm just asserting my dominance.
Well, my eyes are down here, Kira. What is the story? We go through this. This is kind of an inside joke between the two of us, because every day on Morning in the Mountains, are we at the same eye level?
We are.
And every week on Ask Frank Live, we try to do it so that the camera will have us at the same height, or at least have our eyes at the same level. And I thought for the longest time that it was Kira's incredibly long torso that puts her so high above me. Oh, stop it.
It's not that, I feel like it's average.
It isn't. And then today I realized what it is. It's not that you have an unusually long torso.
Okay.
It's that these chairs sink when you sit in them, and you are as light as a feather, so when you sit on the chair, it barely goes down at all. When I sit on the chair, it goes down, like 3 inches. And
But now I'm looking, and my seat's a little bit lower than yours now.
but our eyes are at the same level.
They are, but this does mean that I have a long torso.
All right. Well, you have a long torso and you're light as a feather. That's two combinations. So today we've got a bunch of things to take care of on Ask Frank Live. We're going to have Savannah Denny coming by, the pre-birthday girl. Her birthday is coming up on Monday.
I know, you got to wish her a happy birthday.
Which, by the way, is Orthodox Christmas. That's when the 12 days of Christmas are end when it gets to be Savannah's birthday.
You better not mention that to her.
I'm totally going to mention it. We're going to count it out and get our 12 pipers piping, drummers drumming, whatever it is. And we also have on the show today our friends from Buttonwillow. You saw as we were getting the studio set up, they got here early. They were here way, way early. Steve,
Yes, they did.
Pete, and Andy.
Impressive.
And you've got the tickets,
I
right?
do.
So I guess we'll reenact the Battle of Bull Run or something here today. I'm
That
not
would
sure
be fun.
exactly what it is we're going to do.
Got 2
But we'll
tickets.
knock out something
Look how
here
shiny.
on the show this morning. And also, Rich Haley, our sports director, who often sits in with us on the program, is in Jacksonville, Florida, because go Vols. So I think what we can do at this point, I know they were working on the connection, and it looks like I see him perfectly on the monitor, so let's cut to that, Hunter, and we'll... there it is. Hey, Rich Haley, how are you?
Hey, Frank, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm now the same eye level as Kira, so I'm much better.
Hey.
Well, here, let me help you out. How's that?
Oh, stop. All right, so how's the weather down there on Amelia Island, or where are you exactly?
The weather's gorgeous. I'm on Fernandina Beach here on Amelia Island, and it is
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
I do want to tell Kira,
Yeah?
don't let Frank give you a hard time about your outfit.
Why not?
You're wearing green. The field is green.
You're right.
You're
I'm the
wearing
field.
leather. The ball is leather.
You better
The
stop.
game literally cannot happen without Kira.
You had better stop before I start making jokes about 12 men on the field, all right? Knock it off. There's too many leather jokes, too many field jokes. I'm going to have to stop the show. I want to take a drink of water just so I can't talk.
Okay,
You seriously,
so
what are you
while
doing?
Frank is drinking his
What are
water,
you laying out softballs for me to try to do awful jokes? You know I can't.
it's my job.
All right. I have to protect
All right.
Kira's interests here. I've got to worry about her.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, Rich, what's the story? Last
So,
I heard,
the
Vols
weather's
were
gorgeous.
2.5-point favorites over the Hoosiers.
Yes, the Vols are 2.5-point favorites. The line has moved a little bit in the last couple of days. It started off as a 1.5-point game. It's about 2.5 now.
Yeah?
So,
when did that
it's going to be
change? And
over the last few hours.
Is that better or worse?
That's better. The higher
Okay,
the
so
number
the Vols were
goes, the
favored
more
by
the Vols are
1.5, and now
favored.
they're favored by more. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. And what else is
So-
going on?
Well, weather is beautiful. As you can see behind me, the ocean's nice and calm. I got a great blue sky. I got my Vols uniform on, so we're ready for the game.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the
The
ocean.
game
I
starts
thought it-
at 7.
He's got all this time. It's only 10 o'clock, 10:20 in the morning. So he's got hours to go before the game. So I imagine you're going to hit the
Yes.
beach, right? Okay.
Yeah, we'll hit the beach, then we'll head over towards the game about 3 o'clock.
I looked up a
And do
story,
some of the
Rich,
fan
to see how the
activities
Vols. I looked up to see how the Vols were preparing, to see what kind of intense practices they were doing, and all I could find is that they played Top Golf.
Yes,
That's how
they
they're
played
getting
top
ready?
golf. They did find a couple of chances to put in some real practice, but when you go to a bowl game, a whole big part of it is relaxing with the team and celebrating the fact that you earned your way into the postseason. So
Okay,
yes, they're going to
fair
play
enough.
some golf. They're going to go out and do some recreational activities as well.
But not today. Today it's all about.
Not today.
Now,
Yeah.
when they're home.
As a matter of fact,
Go ahead.
as we were getting ready to go on the air, I just saw the buses for the Indiana football team as they're headed into Jacksonville right now. So they'll get to the stadium and start preparing for the game.
So the Hoosiers were staying there at Amelia Island as well?
They were staying on Amelia Island, and they were practicing in being a high school stadium.
Oh, all right. Now, in Knoxville, of course, the Vols get to do the big Vol Walk, and you've got the marching band, and you've got all the bells and whistles. How much of that still translates to a bowl game?
There's a little bit of that, but primarily the teams go ahead and get into the stadium and start getting ready for the game. But there's a whole lot of fan activities on the outside. So, like I said, we're going over there early, and we'll take some pictures and some videos and post them up so you guys can see what we're doing.
And you'll be doing some kind of live report from the stadium on our Facebook page?
Oh, yeah, as long as the ushers don't catch me, I'll go live at halftime and then right after the game.
Well, as long as you're not transmitting any of the actual accounts of Major League Baseball, I think you should be okay, right?
Yeah, you would hope.
All right.
So,
I think you will go ahead.
We don't want to forget that the Lady Vols are opening up their SEC season today as well. They're playing Missouri at 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
the
gonna
men
be a
Vols
home
didn't
game.
do too well the other day. They
No,
lost
they
to
didn't.
somebody.
Yes.
The men basketball.
So,
right?
right, the basketballs.
Well, lost to Wisconsin.
And with Lamonte Turner out for the season, they're going to have to do a lot of adjusting to pick up the point guard play.
All right. Well, cool. Well, go Vols. Have a great time at the football game tonight on ESPN, 7 o'clock, the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville with our man Rich Haley.
The Tax
scene.
Slayer Gator Bowl.
Do I have to say that?
They
I don't
keep
even know what
saying
it
it,
means.
and they're sponsoring it.
I don't even know what it's talking about. Is it like they get you
It's
out of
in
your
the Gator Bowl.
timeshare? What do they do?
I think they're an income tax preparation group, but I don't know.
Excellent. Well, good job. I don't have cable. Okay, so have a great time. Hey, Alexa, this will be me tonight. Alexa, what's the score of the Tennessee Volunteers game?
Do you
there
want
we
my
go.
pick?
Yes,
My
please.
pick is going to be Tennessee 27, Indiana 21.
Wow, that's 6 points. You're picking the Vols as a touchdown favorite.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how about that?
So that's my pick.
All right, and Kira, what's your pick for the Vols game?
The field.
Yep. There's one of the bowl games is played in like Boise, Idaho, and their field is blue.
Yes, it is.
So there you go. All right, just throw that in.
Well, I'm not representing Idaho. I'm representing UT right now.
Go Vols.
UT Field.
With the green. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop. I just have to stop. Rich Haley, our sports director, thank you so much for getting on live with us.
Absolutely, and we'll see you on live Facebook here during the game.
All right. Excellent. Go Vols. We got our orange on, I got my orange on, so I'll represent. All right. Well, thank you very
There
much.
you go.
Now, we've already started getting some comments coming in, Kira,
We have.
from you, those of you who want to win the tickets
Yes.
to see Buttonwillow. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Buttonwillow Civil War.
Theater. Beautiful, wonderful.
I told people to comment random emojis, so we might have a whole bunch of random emojis
I
today.
love random emojis.
I do too.
I sometimes send the wrong emoji, I think.
I do too.
I
Like,
try hard, but
it's weird how our culture is today. You can't just send random emojis to people, or else it comes across as weird, you know?
yes, I know. There's some, like certain vegetation, even if you're a vegan, you do not want, under any circumstances, to receive vegetable emojis.
Right, because
That's inappropriate.
it is.
And I see we have a question from one of our viewers about the Civil War show. So I guess that's a good opportunity for us to get our folks in, get Steve and Pete and Andy in the show so we can answer some questions about the Buttonwillow Civil War Theater right on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge. Your opportunity to win those tickets happens throughout the entire show. You just have to put a comment on there because really each one of those is a random entry in the drawing. I guess it's one per person, but if you have a lot of questions, just keep asking, but you'll get one entry in the drawing. So let's roll our little story about Civil War. No, we're not going to roll that. Okay. What are we doing, Hunter? What do you want me to do? You can talk. It's fine. Hunter, you can make a comment on Facebook. You could ask Frank live.
Oh, look, we have emojis.
Which one is that?
Well, I don't even know this
I don't
little
think
show.
that's an emoji. I think that's, it's nice.
That's from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, but look how it jumped up in the middle of the screen.
It's kind of cool. It's like he was
Did
in
you notice
between
that?
us. I did. And then we have this cool emoji with some glasses.
See, that's
I
one.
love that emoji.
That's a good one. I enjoy that one. I like the one where with the sunglasses on as well.
I do too.
And of course, the heart emoji is always fantastic.
Of course. I like to use the blue heart because
Blue.
I use the blue heart because if you use red, it means like I love you or something, and I don't want everybody thinking that I love them.
Yeah, how do you deal with that? We were watching one of these videos where you were out and about recently, and I won't say where, and these guys are just staring at you.
Oh,
I've never seen a girl before.
yeah.
You get that a lot.
It happens sometimes.
Sometimes, and by sometimes, do you mean every other hour?
Yeah.
Not every minute of the day, but only about half the minutes of the day.
I just kind of like do my thing, keep walking.
Yeah.
They say, hey, I'll say, oh, hi.
Okay, so you use the blue emoji.
I do.
I mean the blue heart emoji.
The blue heart emoji.
Because I have to look and see. I think some of my friends, they have different ones for, like the Alzheimer's Association loves the purple heart emoji
Yes, yeah.
because their color is purple. What other colors are there?
There's yellow. Yellow's my favorite color. I want to
Yeah.
use that one, but it just doesn't always feel appropriate.
Yellow heart?
Yeah, yellow heart.
What is
There's
that?
a
That
black
seems
one
odd.
too, for people who have black souls.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a bad one. Let's see. All right, I'll try to send you an emoji. Let's see. These are my most frequently used ones. I've got the birthdays, all the birthday and New Year's
course.
stuff. I like these eyeballs. These are my... All right. So we're going to take a, hey, here's the deal on Ask Frank Live. We're going to take a quick break and come back. You may have to refresh your phone, but it's okay. We'll get you all in that contest.
Yeah.
So stick around with us
Yeah.
on Mountain Fun Life on Facebook Live.
The North called it the Civil War. The South called it the War for Southern Independence. Our audiences call it pure entertainment. The Buttonwillow Civil War Theater presents 2 fun-packed hours of Civil War humor, drama, and a wagon load of facts and curious trivia that they left out of your school book. All presented on the huge stage, complete with a full-scale Civil War cannon. Sit back and experience the explosive encounter of a Union colonel and his Confederate Kent as they go head-to-head back in 1864.
And, dear brother, don't you forget, I can still shoot straighter than you.
And you will never know how that has tortured me all of my life.
Laughter, tears, and real truths will fill your soul with history so long forgotten.
It ain't the Civil War.
It is a civil war.
2 countries fighting cannot be a civil war.
That's true. Where are you getting 2 countries out of this one?
The North and the South.
God bless you. You're a simple person.
Come celebrate a patriotic step back into America's history. Yankee or rebel, blue or gray, north or south, we salute them all. It's an American adventure in time. Bring the kids.
That looks great to you, as it does to us.
Absolutely.
Check out these free tickets we've got for the Buttonwillow Civil War Theater, and to win them, all you got to do is leave a comment, and your big thing today is random emojis.
Yes, random emojis. Comment your most random emoji.
And some of them, we don't have your emoji. I think we got one from Wayne or somebody that we didn't get. It just came out as a blank square.
Yeah, just a square. Which, I mean, if that was an emoji, that'd be cool too.
Well, he might have been sending another GIF or something. Did you say GIF or GIF?
GIF.
Good, all right. I want to make sure, because the GIF is correct, because it's graphic interface file or something
Oh,
like
look
that.
at you being all educated.
Anyway, so it's free tickets to that show right on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, right there in Theater Row. In fact, let's bring in the actors who we saw in that clip just a moment ago. Let's say hi to Steve and Pete and Andy. So I remember all your first names pretty well. Steve, what's your full name?
My name is Steve Gibson.
Steve Gibson.
Pete O'Shea's from New York. Andy Lee's from somewhere overseas, Alabama, I think.
Oh, okay. And what about you?
Actually, well, yeah, I'm from Alabama originally too, but we have a passport to be here, just in case anybody's watching. I have a Tennessee passport to be here. Andy's from Indiana.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so we got people from the Midwest and up north, and we're pretty balanced for staff.
Well, that's good, because I was curious thinking about this. You know, I realized as I was driving here today, I was thinking about you guys coming in to visit, that coming up this year, in just a matter of weeks or months, I will have lived in Tennessee longer than any other place I've lived in my life.
Wow.
But the other places I've lived are, you know, New York, California, and D.C., so like it or not, I'm still a Yankee. And
well, we talk about that in the show. There's a point where Andy refers to me as a Yankee. I play her brother in the show.
Oh, all right.
And she refers to me as a Yankee, and I look at her and say, you don't even know where Yankee comes from.
Where does the word Yankee come from?
Nobody knows. They think it could be Indian. They think it might be Dutch.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a dead nail on it.
Well, that would make sense.
There's not even a definition of the word Yankee, and so I ask her. I make that remark in the show, and she says, well, I know what it means. And I look at her and I go, what? She goes, simple-minded. Oh,
well,
Oh,
I mean, actually, I grew up
where
in
the trouble starts.
a town called Yonkers, which was a Dutch word, and
there.
Yonkers, Yankees, sound kind of similar. But I have to admit that if there were a sporting event between a New York team and an Atlanta team, I would always root for the New York team. Can't help it.
Well, there are a lot of folks from New York that came down and fought with the South.
That's true.
They were called Copperheads.
They were.
Yes, sir.
Now, speaking of this whole battle between the North and the South, what is it that you all do?
Well, I've written a 2-person play. This is our 29 years in production.
Wow.
Congratulations.
We've only been here since March, but we toured with the show for 15 years, and then we had a dinner theater down near Chattanooga for 13 years. But it's a story of a brother-sister. He's pro-Union, she's pro-Confederate.
And that's
We
you
run
and
into a
Andy.
camp, and Andy plays my sister in the
Okay.
show. And she shows up in the camp, and she's running medicine to our cousins, and I can't believe it. So we start arguing like 2 8-year-olds. So it's a very humorous production, but there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of laughter, but it's a teaching show. It explains what happened. We're not gone with the wind. We explain how that all happened.
When you say teaching, on your Facebook page and such, there's videos of actual history teachers talking
Yes.
about how much they appreciated the show.
It is astounding how much they didn't tell us in school. I mean, that's just simply put. So what I've done in 52 years of research, which is National Archives, which is where I go to do the research, I go up there and I dig through the original documents written by everybody from Abraham Lincoln to Jefferson Davis, and I find out what they said.
Yeah.
And so that's what's in the show. It's a fictional encounter between the two people, but everything that happens on that stage happened to somebody. Even the stupid stuff happened to somebody.
Now, Pete, being from New York, does he play a New Yorker, or does he play a...
Pete is in charge of our public relations and social media. He's not in the show
All right.
yet, but he's doing an understudy work now to take on the character when we need him to do that.
Because you said it is a
And so-
two-person show.
Yeah, it's a 2-person.
I understand that.
But Pete's always out in the front lobby bothering people and stealing cell phones.
He's got some pretty cool glasses.
Yeah, he does.
He let me try them on earlier, and I couldn't see a thing.
These are authentic readers from back in, I guess, the 19th century, right?
We've got the front of our theater there. We've got a little miniature Civil War museum that's open for free. People want to come look at it.
Very cool.
We've got a lot of items all around the top of the wall there that people can look at. Rifles from Antietam and Gettysburg, and things like a mourning wreath, which was a wreath made out of human hair that they used to put up those
Oh,
days.
no kidding.
Human hair was the most precious thing on the planet you could give to somebody back in that time period.
Wow.
So if a woman cut a lock of her hair and turned it into a watch chain, that was the most precious thing she could give.
Wait,
her
that's
husband.
O. Henry, Gift of the Magi. I think that story you're telling me, right?
Yeah, it's just similar, yes. But the place is full of trivia. We're not heavy duty in that
Yeah.
We're not beating up on anybody. We're not pro-union or pro-Confederate. We're not a bunch of rebels running around yelling the South's going to rise again. As far as I'm concerned, we already did.
Yeah, I was going to ask you who wins at the end.
And there's an old comedian many years ago in the early 60s named Brother Dave Gardner who said it best. He said, "Dearly beloved, people up north talk about how slow we speak and what we eat, but said it comes down to it, you never heard of anybody retiring and moving north."
That is absolutely.
So
Look at me. Hello.
There ain't nothing else to be said about
everyone.
it. No, we folks, and listen, we get a lot of people from Ohio and Michigan and Indiana come to see our show. They're as fascinated by this time period as a lot of Southerners are.
Well, I mean, think about
It
Civil
involved
War.
everybody.
Civil War reenactments are popular all over the country.
Yep.
Civil War battlefields
Still draw millions.
are. I mean, I had an amazing trip to Gettysburg, just to study and look at all of that stuff. It was
I've been there many times doing research. I was in the movie Gettysburg with a whole bunch of my friends. There's this gentleman that did the sports thing a while ago from Fernandina Beach. Close to where he was standing is Fort Clinch, and that was one of the first of the third system forts that I used to do living history for. It's a
Wow.
beautiful fort. You might ought to give him a buzz later on and tell him to run over and look at it.
Yeah.
It is mint condition, really neat place to go. So we tell people in a laughing kind of way, look, history's not boring. It's just taught by football coaches sometimes who don't really get inspired. So most kids come out of school not knowing a great deal about it because they never were exposed to it.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, what about field trips or student trips?
We do school programs. We have a specific show for school kids. So if they call Andy, who handles our group sales, we can do special shows just for the kids, ages 5th grade up.
Mm-hmm.
Anything below that, they're still not quite able to understand some of the things. Now, it's a family show, so we have people in there all the time with kids. Some of it is above their heads, some of it is not. But
it would inspire more research.
Well, exactly. And the point is, I think it's better to shoot over an audience than under one, and let them reach up and find out. And the kids want to know stuff, and they haven't been exposed to a lot of stuff yet. So we give them material that they won't get in public schools.
Oh.
They're just not teaching all of this in school anymore. They're just not.
Well, I mean, they're trying to compress, 250
that's
years
part
of
it,
history
too.
into...
We've added a lot of history since I was in high school, but there's so much political correctness going on today, and everybody's trying not to hurt anybody's feelings. This war happened,
That's true.
and there were people on both sides, and there were 660,000 people died, and all their descendants have a right to understand what happened.
Yeah.
But also there is an adage, an old truth that whoever wins the war gets to write the books. Well, the North won the war, so guess who get to write the books?
Oh.
Well,
I didn't know
also,
that.
Well, we get into that too, and I'll tell you, the things I've discovered in the National Archives will make people's hair curl.
but I'm also interested in a lot of the productions that will be happening this year. I guess maybe it's a big anniversary for Harriet Tubman because there are multiple movies and an
Yes.
opera and other productions
That
all
movie,
happening.
That movie, we recommend that movie. There was a couple of technical errors in it that I saw that nobody else would see. Because I'm looking at details that most people don't look at.
You mean like stuff, the anachronisms?
Well, opening scene, you had some fence posts there with some barbed wire on it.
Okay.
Well, they didn't have barbed wire in 1864.
All right. So that would be an
Well,
anachronism.
those kind of things
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me is important. I mean,
Absolutely.
Hollywood doesn't do enough research sometimes. to make
I
it work.
feel that way when I watch movies set in the 80s. So,
Exactly. Well, exactly.
like, they didn't have
And,
that
at, the
yet.
end, at the end of that movie, in the movie, she was singing on the boat to get people to come out of the woods. That's not what happened. In real life, they got to the banks. The slaves were already there waiting for her, and there were too many of them to get on the boats that they had, and they were about to sink some of the boats. So, as a desperate move, she stood up and started singing, and that calmed everybody down, and they stepped back, and the boats left.
Yeah.
That's what happened in real life.
Wow.
But for some reason, Hollywood just completely changed that ending. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
But that's the way Hollywood does
Yeah.
it.
I'm also looking forward to Knoxville Opera is doing a production of the opera Harriet Tubman
Yeah.
at the Bijou Theater first weekend in May. And I've heard a little bit of it on YouTube from the original production in New York, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, the Underground Railroad was definitely part of this. We discussed in the tail end of the show, we talk about black history. The Civil War is black history.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Of course.
So in February, we always have Black History Month. We focus a lot of the African American involvement in this thing.
Good.
There were African Americans on both sides in the armies. There were African Americans who held slaves in the South as well as the North. I mean, there were all these things that they've just left out of the books that people find fascinating that they need to kind of put back in the books. But the Civil War is Black history, so we salute it. We do a whole program on Frederick Douglass and Anthony Burns, which most people have never heard about.
No, I haven't.
Well, see, that's part of the problem. We've eliminated a lot of that mess over time. He was a
So it's like reading the abridged version, the Reader's Digest version, where
he was
they have
a runaway slave that they caught selling clothing in a men's store in Baltimore. And at that time, Congress had just passed the Fugitive Slave Act, which really set things on edge. What that thing said was that if you know somebody's a runaway slave and you don't turn them in, you're going to jail. That's what Congress did to cause the trouble. Right. And so he was discovered. They turned him in. They let him out with shackles, took him down to Virginia, back to his plantation. He put his picture on the public view, and all of a sudden people who didn't have a dog in the fight or didn't want to get involved in the slavery issue sees this picture of this human being who is now being dragged off to slavery. So they raised money, went back and bought him and freed him and brought him back to Baltimore. But that one incident with Mr. Burns is part of what we talk about. I mean, there's so many things to fill in the blanks.
Well, we'd love for you to purchase tickets, but tell us how you can get, what's the best way to buy them?
We have a
two
website,
freebies.
civilwartheater.com is our website. And it's got video, it's got ways to
You know what? It's on the wall behind you. We could go to that.
Yeah, it's, I mean, is this a...
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it's live. You see, it goes to that big screen right there.
I'm a mouse guy. I don't trust those.
Well, they didn't have touchpads back during the Civil War. They only had computer.
They did have a mechanical computer that was discovered in the 1840s.
What did it do?
They're still trying to figure that out now. But every time I go to the Smithsonian, I find these things that they've come up with. But this thing, when it was discovered, was being used as a doorstop because nobody knew what it was.
Oh my goodness!
And once they determined it was a mechanical computer, the guy invented it, died, and never was able to explain it to anybody. But that kind of thing. Oh.
You've given me a good idea, though. I have a bunch of dead laptops at home. I might be able to use those to prop some doors open.
Yeah, there you go. There's all sites in there for tickets. We have a show today at 7.
Okay.
And then we do shows at matinees at 2s and some to 7. So you have to kind of go online to
pick the
check
day,
out the
right?
show times. But we go 6 days a week.
And these tickets are good for any of those shows?
Any of those shows.
For
all
free.
All you got to do is just call, let us know that you got the tickets, and you're welcome to come and see it.
All right. Well, looks like we've got some nice comments from
we're
Jerry Thompson.
We're not a dinner theater anymore. We were down near Chattanooga, but we got a concession stand, so the game is if you buy enough hot dogs, it's a dinner theater.
Oh. Well, just as a business question, how did you guys take this traveling show and find a theater in Pigeon Forge, and how did you land in Pigeon Forge?
I have been trying to get to Pigeon Forge since I was 4.
Oh, wow.
Almost.
They have maps.
Almost literally. Well, in those days, they didn't have any, Pigeon Forge wasn't here, but.
Yeah, exactly.
I started doing comedy first, 23 years, travel the country, all those times on the road, all those years on the road. I spent my spare time going into museums and battlefields for this time period, just for my own edification. And then in 1991, I had a mall down in Cleveland, Tennessee, said, can you do something on the Civil War?
Oh.
And I looked at him and said, yeah. And that's how it starts.
Oh, wow.
So I started bringing in displays, put them into giant shopping malls where I'd already been doing other shows. And then after 15 years on the road, dragging that cannon around from coast to coast, it dawned on me. I talked to some folks over in Jackson, Tennessee, and this gentleman said, look, if you give these old folks something to eat in the show, they'll show up. I'd never thought about dinner theater. So we bought a little church there in Whitwell, Tennessee, where I lived, and converted it into a 19th century time warp. And after all those years there, I kept trying to get a spot up here in Pigeon Forge for 7 years, literally, trying to figure out how I could build one over in that parkway.
Yeah.
And this building shows up, and it's been used for all kinds of different things, but it came up, and all of a sudden I was able to purchase it.
It's right across from Titanic, isn't
All right,
it?
you can't get a better spot than that.
No kidding.
So
yeah.
we sit there on our front porch and watch the Titanic sink a couple times a day, and the building next to us, beyond the lens, it falls over every day. So it's a good place. It's a good, exciting place to be. But it's a great little theater. Seats a little over 500 people. And
oh, really nice.
It's a beautiful theater.
The acoustics are great. The set's cool. We put up a 19th century campsite up there with a full-scale 1841 6-pounder cannon. It's done with a lot of humor. And Pete's job, one of his jobs, is go out and do pre-show, and he gets them all riled up. In our show, we actually let people yell boo and amen, depending on whether you like about it, because that's what they did back in the 19th century. So if you didn't like something back in those days, you just started yelling boo. It doesn't bother us. We encourage it. I think we're the only theater in the United States that actually lets people yell boo. But that's okay. What they forget is that we got the microphones and we got the last word, so be careful how you boo. But there are a lot of things that we talk about. We have to let people know, especially the ladies, that my character, our characters, are portraying 19th century people. So I wrote the show from their perspective,
using the historical documents
with that kind of stuff and their attitude. So my character in 19th century is not the same person that we are today. So there was a lot of, and the point of this is to show people how we thought. And then by doing that, then we know why they did what they did.
And also it shows how we've changed.
Well, that's the whole point, and how we've improved.
Yeah.
So people in the 19th century, a lot of people believed that slavery was okay. A lot of people believed that keeping women in the kitchen was okay. I mean, my granddaddy was born in 1903, and when he was 17 years old, they gave the women the right to vote, 1920. Until he died, my grandfather could not understand why they did that. But that was his generation. He couldn't understand why they let women vote.
And this is a big anniversary year for that, too, with Harry Byrne, the Tennessee representative.
Well, we
passed the deciding vote.
The essence of what we do, we have it on the back of our T-shirts, is that we say it is a fool who will judge history and a wise man who will learn from it.
There you go.
And that's what we're trying to do, is learn from it. We're not judging our history, we're analyzing it.
So how do you feel about the saying history repeats itself?
It always does. We discuss 19th century politics up on that stage, and people come and they say, this sounds like what's going on today. Some things don't change. The Secretary of State under Lincoln was William Seward. He's a former senator from New York. Seward was a booger, and that's as clean as I can keep that.
He got cut up pretty bad.
He did. Well, and I tell you what, there was a lot of people after that boy for a lot of different reasons. Seward actually had a bell on his desk. And he was known for, if he rang that bell, a clerk would come into his office, there's a piece of paper by that bell, whatever name was on that piece of paper disappeared, or was sent back south, or was into prison and they didn't see him again.
Oh, wow.
That's the kind of power Seward had. Seward actually was speaking one time to the ambassador from England in his office in Washington, and he actually said this. He said, I can have anybody in this country disappear. Can your queen say that?
Oh my goodness.
That's William Seward.
That's brutal.
You talk about politics.
Yeah.
Today's politics are fun and games compared to what was going on in the 1860s.
They were evil.
Well, they were trying their best to hold a union together. I mean, this country was busting apart. We were going into armed conflict. So there's a lot of desperate measures made by a lot of different people. But Seward was a trick, and we discussed him. He misled the South in the whole idea that the North wasn't going to resupply Fort Sumter. He just flat out lied to them, said they weren't. And when the boat showed up, they knew they were coming, and that's when Davis ordered Governor Pickens of South Carolina to open up, because they knew that there was a supply boat coming, and they weren't going to let any more troops into that fort. So that was forced. Lincoln forced the South's hand on that.
Oh, wow.
He was trying to get the South to make the first shot so that he'd look better in the worldview. Politics is politics, and Mr. Lincoln was a politician.
Oh yeah.
First. And so was Davis. I mean, they were all politicians. So again, we don't cut corners. I don't try to hide anything bad. I'll just tell you what we found out in the National Archives.
Wow.
And people will leave our place, especially college level history teachers, walk up to me and say, I haven't heard half of what you just said.
Wow. Well, that's Steve Gibson, who's done all this amazing research.
While everybody else is making a living raising kids, I've been in cemeteries or museums or National Archives reading this material.
Yeah, and the show is the Buttonwillow Civil War Theater in Pigeon Forge, right on the Parkway across from Titanic. And we've got a couple of folks who are just saying right on here that they really want to win the tickets. Mary McGee wants them, Jerry Ritchie wants them, Wayne Freeman wants them. So still get your comment in before the end of the show for your opportunity to win these 2 free tickets, which range about about $30 each, right?
About that. We do local discounts, and we do Sevier County days and stuff. One quick story about this area.
Yeah.
It was a gentleman by the name of Radford Gatlin.
As in Gatlinburg?
You're getting there.
Okay.
Radford Gatlin.
As in Larry Gatlin of the Gatlin brothers?
I don't know if they're cousins, but I would imagine they probably are. But Radford Gatlin builds a little store up in White Oaks Flats, up in the mountains. And he was able to get the U.S. government to bring in a post office into his store, which then put it on the map.
Sure.
So the people in town, thanking him, renamed it after him and changed it from White Oaks Flats to Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was that Radford Gatlin was pro-Confederate.
Uh-oh.
And when this area here was making its moves to get away from the Confederacy, and they actually had a convention in Greenville, Tennessee. The counties east of Ray County all met in Greenville to secede from the rest of Tennessee.
Right.
That's how bad this area was.
Yeah, this area
pro-union.
was pro-union.
Well,
right.
this area is Union. Radford Gatlin's Confederate, and they finally ran that boy out of town. And he ended up going to Strawberry Plains. And they did a Ripley, Believe It or Not story several years later about the man who hated the town named after him. It was Radford Gatlin, and it was Gatlinburg. So it's all around you. Every bit of this happens, and Wares Valley's wall-to-wall history. It's really kind of cool.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I appreciate that. Steve and Pete and Andy, thank you so much for coming by. Get your entries in so you can win these 2 free tickets. Go in and do your thing.
Yep, thank you. CivilWarTheater.com is the website, and we appreciate you. But bring the kids. Kids under fourth grade, they'll get something out of it. But this is not.
They haven't had enough U.S. history in school.
Yeah, they got to get exposed. But we have fun with them anyway. And Andy's character is so goofy on stage anyway that she keeps a lot of that slapstick humor going, so we do that. Some lady in one of the reviews said she was acting like a buffoon, and we said, well, look up the definition. That's exactly what she's supposed to be.
Well, fantastic.
We don't duck.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming by very much.
God bless you, and thank you for having me.
You too.
And thank you. And you look better being taller than he is, so that's good.
Thank you.
Well, it's easy for you to say way up there
Well,
with
I
that
know.
hair.
Well, she's sitting on a phone book. Y'all just don't see it, but she's on a phone book.
All right. Well, so she's light as a feather in this chair, so
Yes, she
we
is.
figured out. All right. Well, thanks again. Civil
Thank
War
you.
Theater. We're at the Buttonwillow. So what does that mean, Buttonwillow?
The word came out of California as a tree called a buttonwillow tree. And if you look it up online, it's the ugliest tree on the planet. It looks like a live oak that got hit by 3 tornadoes. But it's a beautiful name, and I found it years ago on tour doing comedy, and I decided to take it and develop it into my home. I built a place called Buttonwillow Plantation. And then I moved to the theater, so I call it Buttonwillow Civil War Dinner Theater, and now we're up here at Buttonwillow Theater. So
Oh, very nice.
it's just it sounds like an Old South name. I love the name of it. So
I like it too.
it's cool.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming. I know
Again, thank
we
you.
have to come back in another segment because you said you have something that you can't tell me what it is.
I sure do.
Well, you're allowed. I mean, it's half your show, but I'm
not telling you yet.
Sure, you can tell me now.
I'm not telling you now.
All right. We'll be back with more of Ask Frank Live on Mountain Fun Live. You still have a few more opportunities to comment, including while we run this little message about our services to get these free tickets for Buttonwillow. Looks like we have a bunch of folks already signed up, so I'm giving you a last call before we do the grand prize drawing. We'll be back with more of the show coming right up.
Called it the Civil War. The South called it the War for Southern Independence. Our audiences call it pure entertainment. The Buttonwillow Civil War Theater presents 2 fun-packed hours of Civil War humor, drama, and a wagon load of facts and curious trivia that they left out of your school book. All presented on the huge stage, complete with a full-scale Civil War cannon. Sit back and experience the explosive encounter of a Union colonel and his Confederate kin as they go head-to-head back in 1864.
And dear brother, don't you forget, I can still shoot straighter than you.
And you will never know how that has tortured me all of my life.
Laughter, tears, and real truths will fill your soul with history so long forgotten.
It ain't the Civil War.
It is a civil war.
2 countries fighting cannot be a civil war.
That's true. Where are you getting 2 countries out of this one?
The North and the South.
God bless you. You're a simple person.
Come celebrate a patriotic step back into America's history. Yankee or rebel, blue or gray, north or south, we salute them all. It's an American adventure in time. Bring the kids.
A successful business is a lot of work, especially when you have to design your own media projects and advertisements. Let us take care of your media needs. We offer a large variety of services such as photography, videography, print magazine, live streaming, and so much more. Contact our marketing today for a free initial consultation. Email marketing@mountainfunlive.com. We look forward to working with you. We have our own magazine. Our prints are located in shops, gas stations, hotels, ballparks, all over the Smoky Mountain region. We offer a concierge service for cabins, hotels, resorts, and individuals. A portion of any of our services or ad space may be applied as ticket value to the cost of any service or ad you book through us. Contact our marketing today for a free initial consultation. Email marketing@mountainfunlive.com. Ever wanted to stream your own show or events? Well, now it's possible. We have an industry-leading technology production van as well as 3 in-house customizable production studios. Our production van can professionally stream live from whatever location we bring it to. We can cover events like parades, grand openings, concerts, and so much more. Contact our marketing today for a free initial consultation. Email marketing@mountainfunlife.com.
Frank live on Mountain Fun Life. I love doing this show with y'all on Thursday mornings. And remember when we started the show, I was giving Kira a hard time because she's so lightweight that she's taller in these chairs. You know, I actually, by virtue of gravity, pushed my chair down lower than yours, but you were kind enough to lower your chair so we're at the same eye level. Yes. Now look over here. Savannah has joined us. Hello up there, Savannah.
Hello, guys.
Another featherweight.
Oh, I have
who
to
barely
look down.
Barely puts any pressure on the chair.
You're superior to us.
Yes.
Make it the same height as you.
Yeah.
Where's the thingy?
It's down
Here
there.
it is. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Make it really low now.
That's really low.
That'll show you. Well, you can fix it, but make it.
I didn't know
so
they'd go that low.
I don't know how it fixes.
I didn't either. I think that one's broken.
This is a little
little
better?
Almost there.
So anyway, that's kind of the fun, is that I realize now why.
Yes.
I thought it was you just had an elongated torso and you were some kind of Ripley's, believe it or not, nature freak that I was going to have to take over there. But no, you're normal.
Yes, she's normal.
I went to Ripley's the other day. We had a fantastic time. My son is in town from Michigan, where he goes to get his PhD, and he's so we went after Ask. You remember they came here last Thursday for Ask Frank Live, and then we went to Ripley's, believe it or not. And I saw the people with the long necks and the people, all the different, the giant guy, the tall guy.
Oh yeah.
It's
fun there.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know you did a lot of fun stuff the other day, like Ripley's, but I mean,
yeah.
I added Jerry on Facebook, your wife, the other day.
That's good.
Because I heard that you had went to a certain whiskey tasting event, and you drank some whiskey, and we have some photos to show it, and it's pretty funny.
Oh.
All right, that's a perfectly normal family photo.
Yeah.
We did a selfie
Got
in front of the tree.
Eyes.
That's outside the the parking garage in Gatlinburg. They have a Christmas tree, so my wife said, "Well, we'll get a nice selfie. Look how nice we look.
You look great.
We look fine.
You're a great looking family.
There's nothing wrong with that photo." So what are you trying to give me a hard time about? Oh.
That's the photo.
Oh, jeez.
That's it.
Yeah, they give you 13 of those thimbles. Where did you get that picture?
I'm not revealing my sources.
You must have gotten it from my... Oh, no.
It's from...
Really? I'm not.
Yeah.
This is the first time I swear this is the first time I'm seeing these. Now, did you have someone who works at Old Smoky who might have helped with this project?
We don't reveal our sources.
Right.
No, because I didn't see you there. You weren't there that day. No?
I don't work at that one.
Okay. Yeah, that was at the Barrel House. So how'd you get them?
So there's more.
From my wife?
Yes. I added her on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, Jerry, Frank was telling me you went and did this whiskey tasting thing. Do you have any photos?" And she was like, "Oh, sure." She sent them.
Here I am joking about how you're the lightweights, literally, physically lightweights, that you can't even push the chair down. When it gets to the whiskey tasting, it turns out I was the lightweight because I could not keep pace with Frank Jr.
Oh my goodness.
We did I think it's 13 or maybe 14 of those little thimbles.
Dang. You're not supposed to actually drink it. You just put it in your mouth, swish it around, and spit it out, right? That way you can taste them all without getting drunk.
Let me ask Savannah, who knows more about Old Smoky than I do.
No, that'd be kind of weird if you did that. You might judge, but no, I wouldn't judge because then you would be tasting it
At a wine tasting, you have a
drunk.
spit bucket. At a wine but wine is gross.
Yeah.
The whiskey is delicious.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to swish some of that around in your mouth from.
Well, it would disinfect.
The proof of it would disinfect a lot.
So they give you. They start with like it was 2 moonshines or 2 or 3 moonshines. We had the apple pie and some other ones, and then it was all that run of whiskeys. You can see them there. Come back to that picture if you don't mind again. That run of whiskey bottles. See all those? See how many of those are?
Well, which one did you like the best?
I am a huge fan of the salty caramel.
I like salty caramel.
But I found a couple of new favorites. The amaretto was good, and my sister. The reason we went there in the first place is because I have two sisters, and one of them went to Nashville and went to the Old Smoky there. And she's calling me from the airport in Nashville saying, "You've got to get me more of the peach." Because she can't bring it on the plane, I guess. Or, I
Right.
mean, she could have, but she wasn't going to check her bags. So I'm trying to figure out where to go. I went to the Island, and that's the wrong Old Smoky. They don't have it there. That's a moonshine place. I said, "Oh, you got to go to the Barrel House." And I knew the Barrel House because my friend Christian and I had done a tasting there about 2 or 3 years ago. So off we went. That's the Barrel House in Gatlinburg. And we bought a couple of bottles of the peach and gave it to my sister for Christmas.
How sweet.
That's a good story. I mean,
But I did get buzzed. And then we went to Pancake Pantry, and I had no self-control. So I ordered the burger with the bananas and the green pepper on it.
bananas and
It's
green
good.
pepper.
Oh, yeah, it's like one of their signature burgers. It's got a slice of green pepper and then 4 little banana slices in there.
Like, I'm tasting that in my mouth right now, and I don't know how I feel about
Well,
it.
you wouldn't like the burger part, but you'd like all the vegetables and fruit.
But green peppers and bananas at the same time?
You'd be surprised. It's got that sweet and spicy going. And the green pepper, it's a bell pepper. It hardly has any flavor anyway, so the banana, you taste more of that.
I eat bell peppers like apples. I grab them. Everybody at the office makes fun of me because I'll just take one and I go, and they all look at me like, "Kira, what are you eating?"
I have not seen this yet.
Yeah.
So I think next week on Ask Frank Live, it's going to be...
You want me to eat a bell pepper on
I think we're going to have a salad bar out here, and I think we're going to see you, watch you take a bite out of whatever.
I will. I love vegetables.
Okay.
We could blindfold you, and then you could try
That's
it,
actually-
and then you could tell us, since you're such a
like
vegetable connoisseur, you could tell us all the vegetables.
That
are
actually
there.
sounds really fun.
Would you help with this
I
project?
would help with that project.
Because you're on spring break, winter break rather, for another couple of weeks, right?
Yep.
Well, tell us more, Savannah and Kira. You guys are the faces of Mountain Fun Life.
yeah.
When you see us on all the vehicles and all the ads and the billboards and the signage, it's the two of you, because you get to go out and experience the fun part of Mountain Fun Life. So bring us up to speed of what you all been up to.
We've done a lot.
We have.
Yeah. We just, what was it, 2 days ago or so?
Yes, on Tuesday we
Yes.
did a car wash. We went through the car wash.
Yes, and it was awesome. The people there were awesome. What was his name? Dominic.
Dominic, yes.
He was awesome. He was the one that ran the store. We meet so many cool people doing that.
We do. And I always feel bad because I can never remember anybody's name.
I know. I feel
You
bad
do.
too. Yeah, like just now. But
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey, you. I
Yeah.
remember your face and you're so great."
I can tell you my trick
your name?
if you want, because you
What's
have
your trick?
you have to figure out if you're a visual learner or an audio learner.
I'm visual.
So if the person says their name to you and it goes in one ear and out the other, and that's so many of us. Like, for example, today we met 3 people from the Buttonwillow Civil War Theater, and I had to remember their names. Obviously, I remembered it was Steve, Pete, and Andy. So I went through that whole rigmarole when we first walked in, asking, is your name Annie, Aunt D, Andy? So when she finally spelled it for me, A-N-D-I. Now it's in my head, A-N-D-I. So I can look at her and go, that's A-N-D-I, that's Andy, because I can see her name instead of hearing her name. So, I mean, I can even tell you that she signed the back of this because I recognized it immediately as Andy has signed these and authorized the tickets.
Yeah, I was trying really hard not to show the back because I didn't read it. I thought it was like some kind of serial number, and I was like, "Oh, we don't want this."
And I can tell you that Pete O'Shea, his name is Pete O'Shea because he sent me a Facebook friend request yesterday, and I can now see his little icon, and I can see Pete O''Shea. Now, Steve.
His last name was Gibson, and then I immediately thought of the guitars.
Boom. See, that's when I was struggling with his last name because I got the Steve part, but I wasn't sure if he said Gibson or Gibson, so I should have had him spell it, but it's Gibson.
You're a very unique person, Frank.
Anyway, that's my advice. So when you meet some random dude at a car wash, you say, Dominic, oh, really? Is there a K on the end or a C on the end? And he'll go, what do you mean?
Or a Q.
that's very true.
Yeah.
Q-U-E.
That's my
Or
advice
CK.
for learning people's names.
Interesting. I'll keep that
All right.
in mind.
So I also saw that y'all were at one of your favorite places for the year. Was it something, had a bear in it? I mean, not a live bear, but the name of the place. It was a...
Rowdy Bear?
That's it.
Rowdy Bear
What
Ranch.
happens there?
It's a coaster, like a laser coaster.
Rowdy Bear.
Yeah, so they have two different things at that location. They've got like where you get on the coaster, you have a little laser gun, and you go right around, and it slings you around everywhere, and you have to try to hit each target.
Okay, I'm thinking it's like laser tag, but you're on a coaster.
Right, there's nobody shooting at you. But you are competing against the person that you're sitting with, whoever has the highest score.
That would be pretty cool, though, if they fired back with lasers.
I mean, maybe they'll do it someday. I don't know.
I don't know. That might be an extra bonus level.
Maybe.
Okay, so you ride this, and is it indoors?
It's outdoors. Everything's outdoors there.
Outdoors, and you can hit the... How did you
targets. Do? Well, I didn't actually do it because I was doing a Facebook Live. I also didn't want to, like... I was doing it with the guy who's actually, like, made the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I figured... if I compete against him, I might lose.
Now, actually, I have a question now for Savannah. We make Kira do the most dangerous things. I realize now it's not technically dangerous because you wouldn't take ticket money and let someone fly in your helicopter, biplane, go down your Zorb ball, or ride in your roller coaster. You know that statistically they're safe, they're checked. It's really, in reality, it's safe. I know that it's perfectly fine. But on the show, it looks like we're sitting at the desk and Kira's flying upside down on a plane. You know what I mean? How is it that not you, but her?
I don't know. She always gets sucked into the things. It's like the days that I have to miss, it's the most dangerous stuff. So I guess that's kind of like plus side for me.
I think it's because your mom runs the company. I think your mom is keeping you safe. I think that's part of it.
We've got more dangerous things planned for this month.
Yeah. Well, let's throw Savannah into it and see what happens.
I think she is into this one.
That's fine.
I'm thinking of. Which? Can you read my mind? I just said it. Did you hear it?
Yes, okay. I just heard it.
What?
I can't tell you yet.
Why not? You have to read our minds.
It's gonna be a surprise. Why would we spoil it?
Well, does it involve pictures of me tasting moonshine?
It does not. It has nothing to do with you for once, Frank.
What do you mean for once? All these adventures.
Okay. This is Frank, this iPad. And then this is the world. You see? See what I mean? It never stops.
Way to go, Galileo. Well, speaking of the iPad, would you tell us who has won the tickets?
I sure will. All right, they've displayed the name. Actually, I think we should have Savannah reveal it. You wanna?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Wayne Freeman.
Woo! Hey! Congratulations!
Free tickets for Freeman.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Very good. What a coinky dink.
Well done. He sent us some fun emojis as well.
He sure did.
During the course of the show today. So that's excellent. Congratulations, Wayne. You get to enjoy that. Here's a someone.
Hi, Megan.
You know who this is?
Zing from Kira.
When you did the world revolves around Frank, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Oh, is it? I get it now. Okay.
She is eating that up. Yeah, anytime you can give a zing. I get texts. Kira really got you today. It happens to me quite a bit.
It's not hard.
Not
hard at all.
I don't mind.
You don't?
I know I don't mind.
I mean, you get me every now and then, but I've been keeping score.
Well, I bit my tongue today about the making fun of your green shirt that Rich Haley was trying to crack jokes about. I would not go there.
Why'd you bite your tongue? You can't bite your tongue.
Well,
you tell me not to bite my tongue.
But this, all right, you can get away with saying pretty much anything.
Okay.
All right, let's be honest. This is just the state of the world. You guys are cool. I have to still be careful.
Oh, so it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, I told you on the show. I said I got to stop. I can't make any jokes about the field because all the jokes that come to mind are football references, and these would be jokes like you do in an improv show. Things you can say about blank, but not your wife.
See, I'm pretty oblivious to anything in the inappropriate world.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything inappropriate. I was very careful.
Thank you.
That's why I bit my tongue. But if you come see me do improv one night, all filters are off. You have to say whatever it is.
Yeah. Thanks, Mary Jane. She said, way to go, Kira. Another person on the Kira team. You'll have some people on your team someday, Frank.
Someday soon.
Are you on? Whose team are you on, Savannah?
Savannah.
So,
Team
Yep.
Savannah.
There's a new team coming on.
What
That's
is your
me.
next adventure going to be, Savannah? You came in to talk to us about things we're doing here at the company.
I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's a mystery to me, honestly. I
really
get stuff thrown at me all the time, and I just go with it.
All right.
And
How
I love
about when you're driving down the street with your face on the side of the car?
Yes, I love that. And if you ever see it, honk at us. We love getting honks at all the time.
You do? You don't mind?
Yeah, we don't mind.
It's
We
fun.
got honked at the car wash.
We did?
I think that was for Dominic, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, come honk at us.
You're a beast at driving it.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
drove it once, and I was
This is our
terrified.
Humvee?
The
Yeah, the
Hummer,
Hummer.
it's huge.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
she
it's-
drives it like she's just going through big traffic, turning through things.
Yeah, the
and-
way I think
No
is
big deal.
that the Hummer is bigger than everybody else's car, so they have to move for me. So if I keep that mindset, it goes
Savannah.
pretty well. We have another one, Savannah and Frank. Both of us going around.
Well, that is awesome. All right. Well, let's. It's getting to be time where we should start to wrap up. We do want to say go Vols. I wore my orange.
Go field.
Field again.
Yeah, we matched and without even trying.
Well, orange and white. So you got on some of that. You
Yeah.
know, if we were checkerboarding the stadium, we would be just right, wouldn't we?
Sort
Yes.
of. I'd have to take off my jacket.
Well, you'd be the field, and
Oh,
I would
yeah,
be
that's
I would be the one end zone, and you could be the other end
Yeah,
zone.
perfect. We came prepared.
So we're hoping that the Vols will win tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN against Indiana. Although if you're watching from Indiana, we certainly love you and want you to come visit us here in Tennessee, like all those Ohio people and Michigan people tend to do. And congratulations again to Wayne, who has picked up the free tickets for the Civil War Theater across the street from Titanic. And thank you all for your comments. We appreciate that. And thank you for the zings.
You're welcome.
And I'm kind of tickled that my wife went to all the trouble, that my wife went to all the trouble to send you the moonshine tasting or the whiskey tasting pictures.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to figure out why she hasn't posted them on Facebook or hasn't even shared them. We do Google albums. And usually she shares the pictures with
Oh,
me
she will now.
on Google albums. I didn't see any of those. And that's unusual for my wife. She was just like, oh, look, Frank Jr.'s in town. We had a good time. And
Just pull cards out of my sleeves.
so you're the winner. You're the winner of today's show. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Anyhow, we'll be back, of course, tomorrow morning with another episode of Morning in the Mountains at 9 o'clock on our Facebook channel. And I love watching a Roku. I get to watch old episodes on there. Later that day episodes of us on Roku. That's pretty cool. And on our YouTube channel as well. And then next Thursday is what?
Another Ask Frank.
Yeah, but what's the date going to be? Today's the 2nd. So next
I don't know. It's going to be Thursday in January.
January
2020.
9th. Okay. So it'll be after Savannah's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys.
What are you doing
Thank
for your
so
birthday?
much. Nothing.
Oh, come on.
Mom tried to drag me into the studio on that day, so you might see me.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we'll hope to see you on the show. And then, so we'll find another great pair of tickets to give away. And we'll also have opportunities for those of you who are in and around the Sevierville and Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg areas for us to do interviews with you. That's pretty cool. This is kind of a slow time of year when everybody's still traveling. But that means we've got interview slots available for the Morning in the Mountain show. And you can contact producer Brad Levitt, brad@mountainfunlife.com, or leave a comment for us on Facebook. All right. And a bunch of great interviews this week, though. And next week, too, we have Niels Dunker, the juggler, Guinness World Record juggler.
That was cool.
And a bunch of others. But you can get on that list and get in the hopper so that we have you down the road as we get through the quiet months of January and February. Planning ahead. All right, ladies, that's it, I think, right?
Right?
Last words?
Have a good day.
Nope. All right.
I will always love you.
Oh, thank you, Dolly Parton. Oh, I've got to listen to the final episode of Dolly's podcast.
I do too. I'm not caught up.
There's one left that came out on New Year's Eve, and I've not had the time to listen to it yet. All right. Thanks for watching Ask Frank Live on Mountain Fun Life, for liking and sharing and commenting. Thanks to Rich Haley for calling in from Jacksonville, Florida, and we will talk to you again back here coming up tomorrow.